What happens when the hero you believed in becomes the very cautionary tale you feared? Paul Atreides, once the young Duke, then the Messiah of Arrakis, is no longer the symbol of hope. In Dune Part 3, Denis Villeneuve will bring us a Paul not celebrated but broken, not triumphant but tragic. This is not just a continuation of the saga, it's a deconstruction of the myth of the Savior. Stay with me until the very end, because in this deep dive we're going to explore not only how Villeneuve might adapt Frank Herbert's Dune Messiah, but also the symbolism, history, and cultural warnings hidden within Paul's downfall. And by the end, you'll see why Paul Atreides is one of the greatest tragic figures in all of science fiction. Section 1. The Setup, Where We Left Paul. In Dune Part 2, Paul emerges as Muad'Dib, rallying the Fremen, embracing destiny, and igniting a holy war that spreads across the galaxy. But victory is a poisoned chalice. By the opening of Messiah, 12 years have passed, and the cost of Paul's ascension is catastrophic. Billions dead in wars fought in his name. Entire planets subjugated under the Atreides banner. His image worshipped as divine, even as he despises the myth built around him. Denis Villeneuve has already hinted that Part 3 will pivot from spectacle to introspection. Instead of a desert odyssey or battle epics, the story will shift into court intrigue, paranoia, and internal collapse. Think less Lawrence of Arabia and more Macbeth. Section 2. Key turning points in Messiah. Paul's story in Messiah is less about triumph and more about the stripping away of power. The novel unfolds almost like a chess game in slow motion, with conspiracies circling the emperor. Villeneuve has the chance to turn these into dramatic cinematic set pieces. 1. The burden of empire. Paul rules an empire he despises. Every military victory is a wound on his soul, because he knows the jihad was inevitable once he accepted the Fremen prophecy. 2. Love and doom. His relationship with Chani is tender but haunted. Paul foresees that her pregnancy will cost her life. Every smile, every word of affection is shadowed by inevitability. 3. The Stone Burner. The assassination attempt with a nuclear-like weapon blinds Paul physically, but prescience allows him to see with inner sight. This moment is essential to showing him as both godlike and imprisoned by his own visions. 4. Walking into the desert. In the end, Paul follows Fremen custom for the blind. He leaves power behind and walks into the desert, choosing myth over life. This is where Villeneuve can craft one of the most haunting endings in modern cinema. Section 3. The deconstruction of the Messiah. Frank Herbert never wanted Dune to be a hero's journey. He wrote it as a warning. Villeneuve has openly said he wants to critique the myth of the Savior. Paul embodies this warning. In Dune Part 1, he is the reluctant heir. In Part 2, he becomes the Messiah, but at a cost. In Part 3, he is the emperor turned prisoner of destiny. This arc mirrors real historical patterns. Charismatic leaders often begin as liberators, but end as tyrants or martyrs. Herbert studied figures like T.E. Lawrence, Julius Caesar, and even religious prophets when crafting Paul. By showing Paul's downfall, Villeneuve will challenge audiences to reflect on our own tendency to seek saviors and the dangers that follow. Section 4. Symbolism and hidden meanings. Paul's arc in Messiah is dripping with allegory. Here's how Villeneuve might bring it alive. Blindness as insight. Losing his physical eyes but still seeing through prescience symbolizes the paradox of ultimate vision, bringing ultimate imprisonment. He knows every path but cannot change it. Chani's death. Chani represents Paul's last tether to humanity. Her inevitable death isn't just tragic, it's the universe's way of severing Paul from personal happiness. Villeneuve could amplify this through haunting dream sequences, echoing those from Parts 1 and 2. The Desert Walkmans. Walking into the desert blind is both an abdication of power and a final embrace of Fremen culture. It's Paul rejecting godhood to reclaim his humanity by surrendering it. The Twins. Leto II and Ghanima symbolize continuity and foreshadow the children of Dune. Villeneuve might end Part 3 with a shot of the twins, hinting at future adaptations. Section 5. Cultural and historical context. Frank Herbert wrote Messiah during the late 1960s, a time of political assassinations, disillusionment with leaders, and the Vietnam War. The parallels are striking. Messianic leaders, from JFK to Martin Luther King Jr., figures of hope often became martyrs, and Herbert reflected this cycle in Paul. The cost of empire. America's role in Vietnam mirrors Paul's jihad, an unstoppable machine of violence justified in the name of destiny. Religious critique. Herbert, deeply skeptical of organized religion, used Paul's cult of personality as a warning against blind faith in divine figures. By embedding this history, Villeneuve can elevate Part 3 beyond sci-fi into a meditation on politics, faith, and power. Section 6. The Climax, Paul's Choice. The dramatic heart of Dune Messiah is not a battle, it's a decision. Paul, blinded and broken, chooses to abandon the Empire rather than remain a prisoner of prophecy. Imagine this on screen. The throne room, shadows stretching across stone walls. Alia begging Paul to remain. The twins crying in the background. Paul, serene yet resigned, stepping into the endless desert. This is Villeneuve's opportunity to craft cinema on the level of The Godfather Part 2 or Blade Runner 2049, an ending that lingers, unresolved, tragic, but inevitable. Section 7. Outro. Reflection. So what will Denis Villeneuve do with Paul Atreides in Dune Part 3? He will transform him from savior into sacrifice, from messiah into myth. It's the ultimate reversal. The man who conquered the universe walks into oblivion, leaving behind not victory, but a warning. And maybe that's Herbert's true genius. He doesn't give us the story we want, he gives us the story we need. Now I'll leave you with this question. Do we, even today, still crave messiahs? And if so, at what cost? If you found this breakdown insightful, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and let me know in the comments how you think Denis Villeneuve will adapt Paul's final chapter. Because the desert still whispers his name, Muad'Dib.